Good morning and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. I'm Robert Chirabonyonyi. In case you've just joined, this is Good Morning Uganda Agenda. Now, this is a very interesting segment. Why? Because you, my viewer, you can directly communicate with the guest I have in studios by simply using the numbers that will be popping up on your screen. The number that will be popping up on your screen to send me a WhatsApp message or a text message, and I'll read it out and my guest will be responding. Now, have you ever heard of the saying, water is life? Well, one side of that it's relevant depending on where you stay. But the bottom line is life without water is hell to many people, because our body needs water. That's the first thing. But even to move around business, you need water. Now, away from villages where you can go to the well, in town, in cities, urban cities, many of these depend on piped treated water from the Uganda, that is National Water and Sewerage Corporation. And we know this is water that you pay for, but also it is treated water and there are costs to get it to you. Now, usually when you have a dry spell, there is water shortage. And today we want to look at how best can we address, or how best can the body concerned address issues of continuous supply of water to their clients. And joining me on set is the General Manager, Kampala Water, Engineer Mohamud Lutaya. You're most welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Robert.
To begin with, how safe is the water that people of Kampala Metropolitan, Ugandans are consuming? Why? When you travel, you find that someone simply wants to take maybe medicine or water. They just turn on their tap, get a glass of water, take that water. How safe is our water?
First of all, I want to greet all our viewers and also thank UBS for the opportunity they've given us to talk to our customers. National Water, like you said, is a government parastatal that is 100% owned by government, but the way we operate, we try to operate like a private entity. The water we provide across the country, right now we're operating in over 280 towns across the country. Our water is treated to national and international standards for drinking water. So the water that comes from our systems, especially our treatment plants, meets the standards for drinking water. So it means that you can safely drink it when it's within our systems. But usually what happens is that when we transport it to people's homes, you realize most of us have put reservoir tanks. And also some of us have homes that are plumbed quite some time ago. So some of the plumbing systems are rusted. So we can't guarantee the quality of water within your homes. But what we can guarantee is the quality of water that leaves our systems, within our system. It's very safe for drinking. So that's why we always advise our customers, when you're at home, it might not be a very good idea to drink it from the tap, because we never know when the last time you cleaned your tank, the last time you even changed your plumbing system. So that one we might not have responsibility to that. The country is talking about, they have standards, they have regulations where even homes regularly are supposed to be what? Supposed to be changed as far as plumbing systems are concerned. So what I can say is our water is 100% safe. It meets all the standards when it leaves our plants, our systems. But usually when it gets to our customers' homes, there could be some level of contamination. That's why we always advise for them to boil it before drinking.
Now that said, we know we're in a dry spell, and we must say National Water and Sewerage Corporation has done tremendous improvements in addressing issues of water shortage. But at such a time, we do see this surface. Now, like I earlier said, water is life.
Yeah.
If you don't take tea, if you don't have a shower, if no, generally, how are you with so much people connected to the national grid when it comes to water, and of course, you know, you're doing more extensions day by day. This causes worry. How are we going to ensure that we do not go back to years I don't want to mention, where the entire village you could look for water within the network and sadly to find?
What I want to first start with is the progress we've made. I think almost 3 years ago, before we commissioned our plant in Katosi, especially the people of Kampala used to really suffer, especially during this period, because by that time all the water that we had was coming from Gaba. We could only produce around 240 cubic meters per day, that is 240 million liters per day, and yet the demand was over 300,000 cubic meters. So during that time we had a very aggressive rationing program for most of the areas, and I think customers in parts of Namugongo, Bulindo, I know one place like Nsasa would give them water only once a week on Tuesday. So that's where we used to be. So it was really a hard period, and the customers persevered through that period. They gave us a lot of support, and we appreciate that. Since July 2021, things have significantly changed. We commissioned the Katosi system, which added another almost 160 cubic meters per day. So it means that right now, but has a capacity to give us almost 240. But right now we're able to produce 260. So when you add the 240, we have capacity to produce 400,000 cubic meters per day. That is as far as Kampala is concerned. And the demand is around 300 plus. So it means that we have enough water to meet all the demand of our customers in Kampala. So production with or without the dry spell is not a problem for us. So, but also we know that during this period, the demand is quite high and especially during this period when we have all the businesses operating at full capacity, the schools are open. So the demand is very high. And our responsibility right now, what we're trying to do is how do we make sure that we don't have any interruptions as far as supply is concerned and water reaches all our customers. Like I said, as far as production is concerned, we have enough water. So that is the biggest news, the best news we have right now. So we've put in place measures to make sure that at least we don't have interruptions across the network. Once in a while, there'll be planned maintenance activities that we had recently, and that's why I think some customers experienced some bit of supply challenges, but had nothing to do with the dry spell. It had to do a lot with when we are planning to maintain the systems. That's why in some areas might experience shortages, but what I can guarantee our customers right now is that we have enough water, and all the areas across Kampala water supply network shouldn't have any big problem, apart from a few places like Wakiso. Like we've already said, Wakiso is still challenged, and we had Wakiso, parts of Chengera, Buddo, and parts of Matuga. The areas basically, especially in the outskirts of Kampala, are still challenged. But like we've been communicating, we have a number of projects that we have planned that are supposed to address those challenges. Right now, like I said, we have enough water as far as production is concerned. We're trying to see how can we evacuate that water. Right now, Katosi is operating at around 40% capacity utilization. That shows you we still have a lot of capacity. So our plan is to see how do we expand and upgrade our pipe network so that we're able to transport more water, and also trying to construct a number of reservoir tanks for the project that's supposed to deal with the problem of water in Wakiso. We're going to put a big tank in Kanyanya, so it means that water will come from Sonde to Kanyanya and then to be able to gravitate all the way to parts of, so it will address the problems of Matuga and also the problems of Wakiso as well. And also, as we also have a bit of short-term interventions for as that big project takes off, we're also trying to improve water supply in Buddo and Chengera, and we believe within the next 2 months there will be very, very significant improvements. We also have a project, I know this could be parts of Entebbe. The customers in Kajansi and Chitende also are experiencing quite a few challenges, because water that supplies Kajansi and Chitende comes partly from Kampala and also partly from Entebbe. And we realize there's been a lot of expansion and growth in that area. The Sasa, all those places have expanded and there's no need for water. So there's again another project that we've planned to do. Like I said, with the capacity we have now in Gaba, we want to lay bigger pipe from Gaba and put a tank around Chigo there, and then be able to again address the water supply challenge for the customers in Kajansi and Chitende. So there are quite a number of plans and interventions that the corporation is putting in place to make sure that at least all our customers have safe water. But as we speak right now, I would say almost 98% of Kampala Metropolitan is reliably supplied with water.
Well, just remind my viewers that I have the manager, the general manager, Kampala Water, and we are looking at issues regarding water that is distributed by the National Water and Storage Corporation, and how do we ensure continuous supply. Now, you're the client there, and that is the number on your screen that you can use to be part of this discussion. Now, Engineer Lutaya, you rightly said there is so much that National Water Storage Corporation has done to ensure continuous water supply. But I beg to understand, is there a connection between water supply and electricity? And if so, how are you averting this issue? Because most of the times, away from routine maintenance, which fairly you communicate in advance. Not to the notch, but fairly you do communicate in advance. There is usually shortages, not because of construction work. You turn on the tap and water is nowhere to be seen. And these may not even be the areas you've mentioned that have challenges, and there is nothing disturbing. Electricity can go, you can have road shading and maybe you have alternatives. But a house that entirely relies on this connectivity from National Water, and maybe they don't even have a reserve tank, waking up and the taps there is no water, is another nightmare.
Our operations rely to a large extent on power. All the water like for the case of Kampala, and always people argue that you just pick water from the lake. So the water is pumped from Lake Victoria, both for Gaba and Katosi. And I think for those who have had the chance to visit our systems, you see the huge pumps that we have. Just to give you an impression why power is very critical for us. Every month, just for Kampala alone, we pay 4 billion shillings for power.
Every month?
Every month. We pay Umeme 4 billion shillings for power. So that's how much power means to us. So the water is pumped from the lake. We treat it. We pump it to our big reservoirs. In that case, for Gaba, we pump it to Muyenga. In Katosu, we pump it to Sumba. And then some areas it gravitates. Now you see the topography of the city. We have quite a number of what? Hills. So it means that for water to reach some places, we also have a number of booster stations. So across Kampala, we have over 40 booster stations within the Kampala Water Network. So it means that for those booster stations to operate, they need what? Power. So any interruptions as far as water power supply is concerned affects our ability to provide water. That's why we have a very, very good working relationship with Umeme, which has helped us to make sure that as much as possible interruptions are minimized. What Umeme has also tried to do, and we appreciate them for this, is for the case of Gaba, they've tried to give us a dedicated line. Previously, we had one. So when they are doing maintenance, it would be completely what? Off. They've tried to give us at least a second one. So the improvement you're seeing also are also partly attributed to the efforts Umeme has made. But that said again, their interruptions are also beyond their control, like you saw yesterday, when there was a blackout. And that means that once there was that blackout, all our systems practically what? Shut down. And for us, if we lose 1 hour of supply, especially during this dry spell, now for you to stabilize, because remember, it's a dry spell, everyone is using water. So the moment you're not running the system, even just for 1 hour, 30 minutes, for you to restart it and for it to stabilize can take you quite a number of hours. Oh. So that is really it's not like Umeme power that when it's off, you switch on and you start getting water. No, I mean power. So for us, if we are off and we turn on the system, so it means that the people, especially in the far end, might take even 2 days before the system what? Stabilizes. It's depending on how long it took for the system to be down. So it is that challenging. So during the dry spell, when we have any interruptions as far as supply is concerned, it means that it's going to really to take us quite a lot of time to have the system stabilize. And that's why we keep a very, very close working relationship with Umeme. They always notify us when they have interruptions. Like I said, we have boosters that are spread across the city. So interruption might not be in Gaba, but could be find that it is one on our booster station, let's say in Kanyanya. So when it's off and there's any power problem, so it means that the people in that area might not be what? Might have, again, water supply challenges. Now, some customers have argued that, why can't you get a what? Generator for running the what? Some of the systems. So what we've tried to do again is, for especially some of our booster stations that have smaller pumps, we have put booster stations, generators, sorry. So at least we have backup for some of them. But for the big plants like Gaba and Katosi, it's practically very, very, very costly to have generators to run such systems. So there we 100% rely on what? On Umeme, but we have ideas and plans in future to see how we can go renewable and see if we can have more innovations, especially in using solar for some of our systems. These are some of the things we're thinking about as an organization, but I know they're a bit, they might happen, but they're still in the plans. But as of now, we are trying to make sure that at least we have a very good working relationship with Umeme and we minimize the interruptions as much as possible.
Well, we are still looking at how do we ensure continuous water supply in this dry spell, and we know that life without water is another thing. No one would love to have challenges, but also still looking at this continuous supply. How do you handle these broken pipes? Because it's also one area that I find very inconsistent, and the continuous constructions. I've seen where divisions have these roadworks, and you passed in the morning, it was very okay. By evening, you find water almost reaching heaven. You know, a pipe has broken, then 2 days you are the same thing, and everyone will tell you, there is a broken pipe somewhere. That's why for us here, we can't get water. And sometimes it takes some good hours for you to respond. So do you have a system through which you can be able to detect, or it may not be technology, or effective reporting channels, or how does or can the public come in to help? Because these are also things that create this inconvenience. Imagine if there's water, then they will tell you, the grader cut a pipe. And don't you work in tandem with some of these people? That when they are going to construct a road, maybe you first remove, you do something to ensure that we don't get these inconveniences. If they are working on Busabala Road, yes, we need a road. Why should we suffer lack of water? Someone says, the pipes, because of the road construction. How do we handle this?
That is one of our biggest challenges when it comes to, again, providing supply. And we realize there's a lot of roadworks that are taking place. There's a big project coming up in the city, that is the greater Kampala Metropolitan project, where we're supposed to do a number of upgrades for a number of roads. But even right now, like you said, there are road construction going on Busabala Road, but also there are roadworks that are being carried out by communities. You find that the communities mobilize themselves to upgrade their roads. There are roads that are being done by the municipalities. So all these are developments that we all need. Ideally, the way the system should work before any works take place, we should, what we always do, especially when we're working with UNRWA and KCCA, they consult us, they communicate to us that we are planning to do this road. I tell us where your pipes are passing, and usually the contractors, as part of the project, they make provisions for relocation of services. And that we do, we're supposed to work together with the contractors to make sure that before they do the roads, the services are first relocated so that you don't have interruptions as far as supply is concerned. That is the ideal way how it's supposed to operate. But unfortunately, in most cases, even when the communities are doing the road, they should communicate. Like I said, it's two-way. Also, we should be aware. But sometimes you might not know that the community has mobilized and they're going to do the road. But what we would really request that if they are going to do any road works, all they have to do is approach us and tell us that, okay, we're going to upgrade this road. For us, we have all our pipe network is digitally mapped. So we know where all our pipes are, and we're able to relocate the services, or in most cases, actually, so is the responsibility of the person undertaking the roadworks to relocate the services. So it's still a very big challenge as far as, again, providing services is concerned, but also we incur a lot of losses when the pipes are cut. What would encourage the public to assist, especially wherever you pass and you find there are any pipes that are cut, you could immediately, and the customers have been very helpful in this area. They always communicate to us, and we try to organize our teams in such a way that we minimize the response time. Previously, it used to take quite a bit longer for us to respond to deal with those cases, but our response has significantly improved. The cases where you see that there could be delays could be sometimes depending on the nature of the pipe that has been cut. Sometimes some of the pipes could be quite big and you can't repair them within a short time. But at least what we are committing as National Water is to make sure that where we have any communication as far as the pipe has been cut, we have committed that we should have a response time within less than 2 hours. At least the team is on the ground and they're able to control and have the leakage or the works repaired. We're also trying to improve our coordination with the local authorities, municipalities, to make sure that at least we have plans, we have their plans which roads they want to upgrade within the financial year, and also able to show them where our pipes pass, so that when that time comes of upgrading the roads, at least we don't experience those interruptions. But sometimes the municipality tells you that they just get a chance and they get the grader, you know. This morning the grader has been got and immediately they start what? They start works. So those are really serious challenges we're facing, and we hope we can improve on the coordination and the cooperation we have with the local authorities and KC and UNRWA as well.
Well, viewer, you can be part of the topic of discussion right now and send me a WhatsApp message or a text message on the number on your screen, and my guest engineer Rutaya, who happens to be the general manager Kampala National Water and Storage Corporation will be responding to that. Now, I'm not an engineer, but also let's look at the quality and how these pipes are placed. Sometimes many seem to be on the surface that even an ordinary person may look at and really observe. Even the joints, I've seen and I've reported several occasions, people who even know how to just open these the way you do. It's just a bit of some blue thing, screw off this side and they get water. Then after, put back, turn on, and the pipes, engineer, if you moved in some of these areas, you could just, that's a pipe, and sometimes it even brings me to question, how safe is this water? Sometimes it's flooding, and the pipes are midst of these water channels. Now, don't you think that also maybe we have a challenge with quality and the installation? I feel it's also very available for destruction and vandalization.
Yes, what you're saying is right. We have some pipes within the city that could be on the surface, and that is ideally when we are doing the installation of pipes, there's supposed to be a minimum of 3 feet down the surface. But I'll give you an example. Because you see the development of the city keep evolving. So sometimes you find our pipe has been put 3 feet, but over time, when people start grading the roads, they also get closer to the pipe. Some of those pipes that you see on the surface have arose because of the developments that have happened in different parts of the city. But also, I don't rule out the possibility that sometimes there are possibilities of poor workmanship, especially some of the contractors we're using, and that's an area we're trying to also deal with. We've strengthened the way we supervise most of the works. At least no works are now approved if they don't meet the standards. But also, what we're trying to do as well is we have a program of trying to make sure that all pipes that are on the surface within the city, we're calling it a swallow program. So we're trying to deepen all of them, so that I think very soon you might not see such pipes as much as possible. So we're trying to make sure that at least all the pipes that appear to be on the surface are deepened, because also the more they're exposed, the more risk they are as far as breaking is concerned. But as far as quality is concerned, the system is always pressurized, so you don't have any challenges along those lines. But it's an area also that we're trying to deal with.
Okay, now let's look at some of the questions that are coming in from my viewers. Why is the bill or bills so high, and why does it have that car smell? Now, I don't know what car smell, but please give us your name and where you're watching from so that we can know who is sending us this message. Thank you for the program. I'm watching from Mbara. I appreciate the effort you have put into ensuring we get water, especially around this time. My challenge is now on meters. Kindly address the challenge of meter shortage and corruption among your staff. That is a good one. Corruption among your staff. Please just give me your name and where you're watching from. Let me first have those two coming in. Keep them coming, and I'll be reading the messages out. You can use that number to send a text message or a WhatsApp message, and I guarantee you I'll have all of them really out there. Well, another one also talks about the issue of meters and the payment systems. Let's first go to those.
Yes. So I think the first issue was, why is the water bill high? And Robert, I think the last time we were here, you're one person who was shocked on how affordable water was. And I think since then, nothing much has changed. Our bills, our water is still one of the most affordable commodities we have within the country. Sometimes it's a case of people understanding their bills and their systems. So like I communicated, we have around 5 categories of customers. We have I'll start with the category that we consider vulnerable, people who are informal settlements. We call them the urban poor. So the disadvantage, we appreciate as a corporation that not everyone might be able to afford water piped within their homes. So this category of customers, we charge them, we have a proper tariff. The tariff for omuntu wa wansi basically. So a jerry can, 20 liter jerry can is charged only 25 shillings. That's what the corporation charges. So it means that if you have 100 shillings, you can go with 4 jerry cans.
Okay.
But sometimes we have operators of those points, and I think these points are spread. Like in Kampala, we have almost 6,000 such points. And these operators can charge, for them to operate the tap, they can charge a jerry can less than 100 shillings. But the corporation charges a jerry can 25 shillings.
Actually, majority of them charge 100 shillings.
Yes.
Majority
But we've tried at least to fight. Before the charge was almost 200. But now at least we try to control it to around 100. And we're putting in place measures, especially with the prepaid meters in the urban, in the proper areas. If you have a prepaid meter, at least you get a jerry can for 25 shillings without token. Then the other category are the domestic customers. So those are people who have put water in their homes, and most like you, I'm sure you fall in that category. A 20 liter jerry can goes for 97 shillings. Not even, so it means that you pay less than omuntu wa wansi who buys it for 100. For you pay it at least for 97 shillings. Now the other category are the institutions. So these are the schools, the hospitals, government entities. A 20 liter jerry can goes for 98 shillings. Then we have the commercial business. Those are the businesses. We have a tariff for them. The jerry can goes for 116 shillings. So you see,
more light on commercial when we talk about
commercial. We're saying the hotels, the businesses. If you're using water purposely for business purposes, yeah. So it could be a hotel, it could be an office, it could be the arcades. So a 20 liter jerry can is only charged 116 shillings. Then the last category, we have the industries. Yeah, our tariff is try to support industrial development. So we have a special tariff for industries, especially the industries that consume more than 1,000 cubic meters per month. There the tariff is only 59 shillings. So it's the second lowest to the proper tariff. So what the challenge usually is that, so you realize the tariff at itself is really what? Affordable. Now the problem comes in 2 ways. Is how do you use the water? Because sometimes the fact that our system is post-paid, you first use, then we do what? We pay you. Sometimes you're not very conscious on how you use your water. So before you know it, you realize you've used more than what you should have used. So that's why we always advise our customers to be cautious, to have even the appliances you have in the house. Some of these appliances are really a bit odd, so you find they're using quite a lot of water. Some even people have leakages within their homes, even after the meter. We've had quite a number of these experiences. So you find the bill is high, not because of the tariff, but just because you have a leakage, you have these plumbing systems. When people open, they flush whenever they want. So the usage becomes the challenge for the customers. Then the other issue is the consistency of payment. So the fact that any month you delay to pay, the bill what? Doubles basically. So, and yet if you pay consistently, you might not feel the what? For example, if you're using say 50,000 and you forget in 1 month to pay, then the bill will come with 100,000. So consciously start thinking that water is what? It's expensive. And yet it's not only that you are delaying to pay. So we've been advising our customers, be consistent with pay every month. You will never feel this cost of water. And also take interest in your system within your home. We've empowered our customers with the system we have right now. Your meter is with you, so it means that you can read it. You can even know how much water you use every day. Then you're able to identify where are you getting the wastages from. You can read your meter every day, you can read your meter every month. You can know how much water you're using on a daily basis, even on a monthly basis. All these systems are being developed to empower the customers to be in charge of their bill.
Well, I think now our viewers, you know why sometimes these bills look so quite high, but also there are a bit of exploitations, I think, where maybe national water is limited, therefore, that you would find someone away from these urban poor that have where you can just put a token 100, then you get a jerry can of water, which I want to commend you, because one of the things I found is if you have space, I don't know if that policy changed, and the National Water and Sewage Corporation finds that there is space, there's someone who is willing to man that, they will introduce these kind of meters. At least I've had a number installed in my community by just simply mobilizing the community, and someone says for me they can put that facility,
the meter, the
stand, and then people can come and pick water, and it's worked. At first I thought it's a long process, but it works. I've had a number of them, not so many, but at least 5, 6 installed in my community. Now, we are in a private sector, but sometimes many
There's
people...
There's a question I didn't respond
We're getting to that. Many people have domestic taps and they sell water. You know, someone within their home, people can come and buy water. Now, that is one of the things they look at, because someone will sell you 2 jerry cans at 500. So a person would think national water is charging a lot of money. So they have allowed people to do private. Someone says, Mama gundi atunda mazi, gende wagundi, gende wagundi. So a jerry can of 20 liters, that for you domestically you're charging 97 shillings, this person is charging 200, and the image will come to you, but thanks for explaining that. Now, the issue of corruption, when it comes to this, who come to read meters, some of them even intimidate people. We are going to take your meter, this and that. You've tampered with your meter. You're like, I've never done anything like that.
There were 2 issues there what the customer tried to ask. One was the issue of shortage of meters, and maybe I want to first start with that. For the last 2 months, we've been experiencing a shortage of meters within our system. Like I said, most of the meters we use are imported, though we are trying to explore possibilities of having these meters locally manufactured so that we 100% deal away with the issues of importation and shortage. We've been experiencing that shortage, but as I speak right now, we have stocked enough meters. So all customers that had applied for water, that had their meters defective and they need to be replaced, have paid for new meters, I would want to request that you shouldn't have a problem right now. We have all the meters that we need to take us through. At least we don't expect to have any other shortages of meters moving forward. Now, the issue of corruption of our staff, I want to say that, okay, within any system, you might have a number of weaknesses. So we have some of our staffs who could be involved in activities that are completely unacceptable. But what we want to encourage or request our customers to do, when you experience any, first of all, we've tried to advise our customers, you don't have to give any of our staff money. All the money you pay is supposed to pay through either through the bank or the mobile money systems. So no staff is supposed to request for any customer for any money for any services. So if you find, if any of our staff asked for money, we've always advised customers to approach any of our offices. We have our toll-free lines where we approach to that. We have now a zero tolerance to corruption within the organization. We've had a number of experiences, customers are being duped. Some of these are not even they're not even staff of National Water. People masquerade to be staff, and they have tried to dupe customers. But what we want to request and advise any customer is where you feel someone is trying to demand, like I said, all our services, we try to make sure that If you want any services from National Water, you can only pay through the what? Through the systems that we've advised to you. Kindly approach any of our offices, and then we make sure that such cases are dealt with.
Well, now we have quite a number of messages, and allow me read many so that we just select a few we can answer in the interest of time. We have about 5 minutes to go. Now, hello, good morning, Uganda. Thanks for that program with National Water. I'd like to appreciate National Water and Sewerage Corporation for the improved services and customer care. Recently, my water bill shot up from around 100K to 500 per month. Instead of National Water coming to harass me to pay, they came to investigate the cause, and indeed, it was a broken pipe. The problem was then sorted. It's kudos for the team in Chali Wajara area. Kabyanga Godfrey. Well, thank you for watching. We have one. Good morning, Uganda. How much is a meter of water? Then I also have good. Thank you. I'm watching UBC from Barra. On the issue of meters, I wish you could take a lift from Mweme. You clear your bill, get your meter. How is sewerage charge counted in commercial buildings? The water bill comes with sewerage charges. And thanks for the program. Good morning, sir. Kakiri side, we are lacking water. Just having a meter is a hard thing also. Well, there are so many messages, but we must go with those as we wind up.
Yes, for Godfrey, I think we want to appreciate his good feedback, and I think I want to thank the team of Chalwadjala for the good work, and it happens everywhere. One wanted to find out the cost of the meter. The meter is 101,000 shillings. So that's the cost of the meter, and no one should charge you any more than that. And like I said, you don't pay to any individual, you pay through either the bank or through mobile system. The meter shortage, like I mentioned earlier, is something, the challenge we've been having, but right now it has been sorted, and we have all the meters that we need. If you have, no one should tell you that there are no meters in stock. We have the meters, those who had applied for water. Right now we should be able to have your water connected, and we've committed that any backlog for connections, you should be able to clear it by end of next month. How is sewerage charged on commercial buildings? Sewerage is based on your water consumption. So for domestic, if you have a sewer connection, you get your water bill times 75% if you have that is for domestic. Then for commercial and other tariff, it's 100%. So basically, that's how the sewerage is charged. So it always comes together with your water bill. So you get the bill for water and the bill for what? For sewerage. So that's how it is charged. And for Kampala, especially CBD, we're trying to make sure that at least most of the parts are sewered. So we're trying to make sure that most of the buildings, and working together with KCCA to have all these buildings connected to sewer lines, so that again we clean the city. Yeah, then for Kachili side, these are the areas that I mentioned earlier where we want to apologize to the customers that side. We're not able to provide reliable supply that we would wish, and not because we don't have enough water, but just because for us to provide reliable supply in those areas, we have to upgrade the pipe network, and which we are trying to do. And with the projects I mentioned earlier, we should be able to address the water supply in Kachiri, in Wakiso, and those areas that right now are challenged with water supply.
Okay, well, I must let Engineer Mohamud Lutaya out of here, but before I do so, in just a minute, your parting shot.
My parting shot is one, to appreciate UBC and also appreciate all our customers out there for the support they've given. The cooperation we're having for us to provide supply, we really want our customers to respond and pay their bills. One of the biggest challenges we're facing right now are two things. One is people who are stealing our water. So water theft is a very big challenge for us. In Kampala, it's even bigger. And the surprising thing is that it's not the people, the rich, the poor people who are stealing. It's always the what?
The
the rich people. And like I said, the poor person is paying a jerrycan 100 shillings. For a rich person like you, giving it to you at 97 shillings, and on top of that, you want to what? To steal it. So we want to advise our customers out there and also general public, let's join hands and fight the vice of stealing water. The other issue we're also trying to deal with is payment. For us to provide reliable supply at any time, we rely a lot on our customers. And most of our customers have been very responsive when it comes to payment. But there are those who don't really prioritize water when it comes to payment. So we want to request all our customers to pay their bills. Right now, we're being a bit aggressive. If you haven't paid water, you might find that we will have no choice but to disconnect you. It's never a choice for us, but you leave us with no option. So we don't want to inconvenience you. Kindly pay your bills, and if you paid your bills, we want to appreciate you, and we commit as National Water to make sure that we provide you with reliable supply.
Well, I must leave room for the sportsman, Ruben Pima Kasela Chibidango. Thank you so much. Engineer Mohamud Lutaya, General Manager, National Water and Sewage Corporation, Kampala. Pay your bills in time, report water theft so that we can have continuous supply. See you in the next hour. Good morning.